What up, YouTube family, man? How y'all doing? Y'all know who it is. I'm back once again. I'm the host of this podcast, Seeking Knowledge Podcast. And today, I'm going to say this rising because it's about 8 a.m. where I'm at. I have a special guest on, Miss Sarah. Like, I wrote a story on her called From Pain to Purpose. And her story is so deep. That's why I can relate to her story. I know y'all just going to watch this on replay, who going to watch it online. Y'all can relate to her story. But enough being said, Miss Sarah, how are you doing?
I am well, thank you. Great morning. And great morning to everyone watching and that will view. I am just grateful to be here this morning, is how I'm doing. How are you this morning?
I'm great. Love your energy, by the way. But I'm great. So I know what you went through. You overcame so much in life. Like you went through so much pain and trauma in your past. Now you living a life. You following your purpose. Like so, can let the viewers know like what you went through, what you overcame, and they want to know who you is. To be honest, like because I don't know a lot about you, but the story I wrote on you it gave me enough insight to like you know what I need to bring her on this podcast so the world can know what she overcame.
Well,
And
thank you. Thank you very much. And I appreciate that. So I will start out by just simply introducing myself, saying that my name is Sarah. I go by Sarah. All I do is win
yeah,
Ausby. Yes. I am a mindset coach, a international best-selling author in the stand-up anthology movement, volume 1. I am also a motivational speaker and the producer of a history-making 8-city book tour called Voices on Paper. Hey, the esteemed Dr. Toya. Yes, some of my people have come on. Uh,
yes,
and so I will
thank
begin to share my story with you. I will tell you that I was raised in what we call the hood, right? So,
you.
and as a young girl, I did experience quite a bit of trauma. So at just 6 years old, I was molested by someone that was supposed to be a trusted family friend, right? So we need to be careful about those trusted family friends, right? Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and then at just 9 years old, I was molested by what was then my late aunt's husband. And so we also need to be careful about who we marry and bring into the family, right? So that was trauma twice before I was 10 years old.
Mhm.
Now, I do recall that at 9 years old, it was a grooming, if you will, that was happening. Come sit on my lap, you're my favorite girl, those kinds of things. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And so my biological father was not in the home. And so that led to a young girl seeking for that, fatherly attention and,
Mhm.
and validation from a father figure. And so that gave way to that particular situation. I was, and I do know, I'll say that. I won't say I believe because I do know now that a lot of my youth behaviors stemmed from those particular situations. Okay. So I say that because if you read my chapter, if you have read my chapter in Stand Up Volume 1,
Mhm.
you then will know some of the things that I exhibited. Like I was a child that was very challenging for my mother. I later and now, in my now, refer to myself as my mom's standout child. I stood all the way out.
Yeah.
I mean, way out. We're talking about you get phone calls, how the family would call, say, Nana, I call my grandmother Nana on my mother's side. So my Nana, or some people call Big Mama, right?
Uh-huh.
Or Yaya, Grandma, right? So, but my Nana, like say she calls and she's talking to my mom, right? And she's saying, I have 3 siblings from my mom's side. So she say, Vera, Mark, Grace, how are they? And my mother would go, oh, they're well. And, and then she say, and how's Sarah? Because they know a story is coming, right? There's a
Right.
story coming. So they had to save me for last. And so that was how my childhood was, all of my teenage years. And I started kind of early. So about 11 years old, I really started giving my mom, some trouble. I was being bullied in school. So that had something to do with it as well. And let me just say, let me be clear when I say bully, because some people can take bullying as, they called you names, or, they just sat and they snickered and, and all those kinds of things. No, I wish that's what it was. I wish I could say that that's what it was, but it was much more physical than that. And we're not talking about being pushed or even hit. I was being poked in the behind with a safety pin. Okay. Yeah. So now in retrospect, I know hepatitis B, HIV, right? Now in my now child, all I knew was it hurt. And I wanted to hurt little girl. Like I wanted to hurt her. But there was something in me that knew if I started, I wasn't going to be able to stop. So if I started hitting her, I wasn't going to be able to stop. And she didn't know the rage that was bottled up inside of me. And yes, at a young age, I understood that. And even though it was horrible, right, what she was doing to me, I didn't allow myself. And in my heart, I couldn't allow myself to do what I was seeing and hear that I really wanted to do to her for what she was doing to me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? I can relate to your story of being molested because I share this a lot because I'm here from it. But I was molested by a friend that was close to the family. And it happened so young. Like, it changed my thoughts around. Like, I started living a homosexual lifestyle. I'm not ashamed to share it because I'm here from that. But you know how you go through something so young. Like, I molested. I went through that. Like, I had to really move away, cut family out because they used to look at me like, oh, you a homosexual, you a punk, you soft. But now I'm happily married to a beautiful wife, Erica Brewster. She's on. Love you, baby. She in the room. She can hear me. But yeah, I went through that. And another thing for us, the bullying, I was bullied in school so much because I was a nerd. I consider myself a nerd, like a smart guy. I was bullied. So I got picked on. People like got smacked in the back of my head. People kicked me in my behind. Like they punched me. Like I was literally got bullied. I got bullied so much that I became a bully. I got bullied so much that I became a bully. Then I got tired of being a bully, and I started fighting people I started helping people that was being bullied. So it's crazy what you can go through in life, but how life can change. So I went through a lot of pain to be where I'm at. Like, and I'm so vulnerable. I don't mind sharing my story, what I went through, because I tell people, look, if you're ashamed to share your story, that means you haven't overcome. Thank you so much, Miss Dr. Sarah. Thank you. But I overcome everything I went through. And I don't care if people judge me or how they look at me now, because I know that's my past. I don't dwell in my past. My past has made me who I am.
Yes. Yes, DeMarcus. That is what you said right now listen, as we would say, is a whole word. Okay. That is a whole word. I am so glad that you have said that and that you've been able to overcome. People don't understand, sometimes and they judge people based on their past. But what I now know and understand is that those people themselves are hurt people, right? And they're hiding behind things that happen to them. That's why they're judgmental. That's why, they're saying all the hurtful things that they're saying, because they need to heal. They haven't begun their healing. That's why they're in that space. And you sit here today as a heterosexual man, married to an amazing woman. I don't even know her, but I know she's amazing. I just do. Just from the way you've spoken about her, and a beautiful child. Like, I want people to take this moment to understand this. God is real. God is faithful. And when he has a plan for your life, and he does for everyone that he has created, there's no devil in hell that can stop what God has put in motion. He tried to stop you, but failed. Tried to stop you, tried to get you in that trap, right? Have you to think that, oh, well, I must be this because this is what happened to me. And this is no. And if we could only understand in these little minds of ours that we are not our mistakes, we are not our trauma, we are not what we have done in the past. That is not us. Those are decisions that we made, mistakes that we all make in this human life.
And before I started like changing the way I think, I always thought my mistakes and what I went through in the past was me. I was like, you know what, this is who I am. But as I got older and got to like distance myself from certain people who didn't really support me, like, because I feel like if somebody love you, support you, they're going to go be there with your ups, your downs, your wins, your losses, your lefts, your rights. They're going to be there for you. So I was like, they don't really love me. I'm talking about family and so-called friends. So if I got to moving away, distancing myself, I was like, this is not who I am. I went through this so I can help somebody else come out of that.
Yes. And that's it. And so you started out by saying once you changed your mindset. Well, let me just tell you, you had no way of knowing this. That is a quote that I share with everyone. If you transform your mindset, you will change your life. I'm living proof of that. DeMarcus is living proof of that. It is true because what you think guides the rest of your body, your actions, your life. So, and the Bible tells us this way in Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if that's what you're meditating on, you think that's what, if you think you poor, you think you ugly, you think you stupid, you think you too old, too young, not good enough, that is what will be for your life. It is your responsibility and yours alone to
and
guide.
I agree with what you said because I just like, you know, I'm with legal shit. So I reached out to somebody about legal shit. They said I'm poor. I said, you know, poor is a mindset.
Yes.
I said that's a mindset. If you think, like you said, if you think that that's what the universe going and God gonna send you because you attract what you put out. So if that's all you thinking, that's all you gonna see. I tell people I work on my mind daily. You got to, like, every day it's gonna be a challenge. So, but you gotta know what to put in there and what to not put in there.
Yes. And it is a daily challenge. And so that just brought me to the other portion where I tell people, I remind people that also God tells us to not be conformed to this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. That ING means just what you said. It's an ongoing thing. It is a daily thing. It is not a one-off. It's not a one and done. You must on an ongoing basis because life challenges will come at you no matter who you are. No matter where in life you are, no matter how many zeros is in your bank account or not in your bank account. Maybe you don't have a bank account at all, but still it matters, right? So we have to guard our thoughts and understand that we have the power. That same Bible tells us that the power of life and death is in our tongue. You will have exactly what you say, whether it comes to pass today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. It will happen. It will happen. It will happen. So let me tell you this, okay?
No, I just want to say,
fast forward a little
hold on,
bit.
Sarah, let me say something. Like, I ain't gonna even lie. I just want to say thank you for everybody that's tuning in. Miss Dr. Toya, my wife Erica, my brother Desmond. Thank y'all for tuning in. And Sarah, I just want to say, I'm loving your energy this rise. I'm loving your energy, but keep going. Like, you got me over here. Like, let me sip my tea.
Thank you. And hi, Erica. Oh gosh, nice to virtually meet you. But I wanted to share that, you know, when it comes to mindset, it is because of the power of God, my faith, me trusting him, and my mindset that I am in this position and on your podcast right now this morning.
Yes,
Because
line.
I was a person. I used to be that person that we call negative Nancy's, or doubting Thomas's. That used to be me. That used to be me. And one day I just had to take control of my life, my thoughts. I was in my 40s. And at this time, I had gone through so much. I had lost multiple children, trying to have a child with my husband. I lost my husband and my dad just within 10 months of each other. My husband wasn't just a husband, just so clear. He was my absolute best friend at the time on this earth. And so it devastated me. It was a sudden thing. We didn't know that this would happen, right? So in that, I had a mental breakdown. Like I broke mentally. Like I watched him draw his last breath at home. Just him and I and the God and the Father God. Just us.
But I can relate to like mentally because like I went through foster care, but my birth mama, I literally had to watch them pull the plug on her in the hospital. Like she was on her deathbed, so the only thing was keeping her alive was the machine. And I remember the time I was a receptionist at a nursing home or a assisted living facility. I was a receptionist. I'm telling my supervisor what's going on. Like my mom on her deathbed, I gotta go. She gonna tell me you can go, but you gotta come back. I'm looking at her like you must be tripping because you didn't understand what I just said. My mother is on her deathbed. I have to go. So you think I came back? Nope. Didn't come back and I took some time off. But yeah, so I can relate. And that's like pain. Like when you just saying, like says your father, saying my mama, like, gotta watch him pull the plug. When I say I cried like a newborn baby, I cried, I weep like for so long because my mama, we didn't have the best relationship out of all her kids, but I was the one that always went back and checked on her and made sure she was cool and did for her. But it's like just watching, experiencing that pain.
Yeah.
To see them pull the plug on my mama, and even though she was already gone because her insurance ran out, the machine was the only thing keeping her alive. And look, and people might don't want to believe this. When she was on her deathbed, I told her, look, I know I wasn't the best son, but I forgive you. I said, I hope you can forgive me what I put you through and I forgive you what put me through. I'm not making this up, Sarah. When I said that, her hand raised up like she was trying to grab me. And I said, during that moment, she forgave me and she still loved me.
Yes, yes, yes. And I believe that to be true as well. My God. My God. My God. Yeah, Dr. Toya. It's the stinking thinking, right? I'm so glad that you said that because a lot of times we think, oh, I didn't forgive. Now, my dad and I was a big daddy's girl. I still am. Okay, I still am. But my natural father, I sat on his lap until it was physically impossible. Now, he passed when I was 33 years old. So, no, he passed, I was 32. I was 32 years old. So I sat on my dad's lap as a 32-year-old woman, okay? Because that's my daddy. And so that had been the nature of our relationship. And I'm his eldest child. And so I just was a big daddy's girl. But I'm telling you that in that mental break, people around me didn't really know. They would say things like she done lost her mind, but they did not know how true that statement really was, because that was really the state that I was in. So I had no medical treatment, or anything like that. And I just went through this. I'm still raising children while I'm going through this. Okay. 3 sons that I have. And so through that, it would be many years. It took me about 15 years before about almost 15 years before I really got help, and I got therapy. And in that state is where I was homeless. I had lost everything. So my bank account went from the high five figures to zero.
Wow. And I
Yeah.
can relate too, because I can relate to being homeless too. I remember back in where I'm originally from, East St. Louis, Illinois, but I was homeless in St. Louis, Missouri. And I remember during the time it was cold where I had to sleep in an abandoned building. Like I had a job, but I had to go to my job, wash up. I had to go to the laundromat, wash my clothes and wash up. But think about sleeping in an abandoned building. And it's been times you waking up and there's workers out there about to knock the building down. Like I didn't been through it all. Then I remember when I was in Texas, like years ago when I first came to Texas, I was homeless, sleeping in my SUV, had to go to a truck stop to wash up, and it was hard. Like you gotta stay up all night at times to make sure nobody don't try to come in and kill you. Like it's hard. Like, but I look at everything I went through, all the pain I went through, it put me on a journey for my purpose.
Yes, it
So
truly did.
I don't regret nothing I went through.
No, it truly did. All of those things, the being homeless. And I'll say this. I was homeless. I became homeless in Tucson, Arizona, because when my husband passed, I took the children, packed up, and I moved to Tucson, Arizona. My eldest brother lived there. He said, you should think about coming. And in 15 minutes, I made a decision. We're moving to Tucson. I'd never been to Tucson. There goes that mindset. Nobody knew though, right? And so I got there and we built this wonderful life. It was beautiful. Nobody wanted to go at first, but when they got there and they began to meet other children, as children are very resilient, right? Excuse me. So they made friends and we built a beautiful life there. But after they left home, that's when things started spiraling for me, just shortly after they left home. But I never forget that I made the statement that I would never, as long as I remain melanated and my name was Sarah, that I would never move back to Syracuse, New York. So let me tell you all where I'm hailing from this morning, which is Syracuse, New York. And I've been living here for 11 years now. Okay. So, and I've been back here this entire time. But what I realized was that my resistance in coming, it was a distraction, and it was the adversary's attempt to keep me stuck and to keep me from fulfilling my purpose, right? Or even coming to know my purpose. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Those are his jobs. That's what he wanted to do, right? So I came back here reluctantly, but God knew that it would only be by a homeless situation that I would return here. I couldn't even afford to pay my way back. It would be a church in Tucson, Arizona that paid for my ticket for me and at the time my therapy dog to return to Syracuse, New York. I returned here. A person who was at the time considered a friend said, "Oh, you can stay with me." I'm just gonna pause here for a moment and say, don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. Don't do that. Utilize resources, but not that resource. It's terrible. It was the quickest way to find out that person wasn't my friend. And I was calling that person friend for like 12 years, 13 years.
Backstabbers. Smile up in your face. Whole time they want to take your place. I'm telling you, I know about fake friends, fake family.
That's it.
And I like how you said you gotta use the resources, but not their resources. Like when I was homeless in Texas, I don't even lie. I went to the Salvation Army, met a caseworker. I got my first apartment, like a studio apartment. It was like a hotel. But I took the steps I need to get a lot of people go through stuff. They don't take they too prideful. I'm not fit to get the help. I met a caseworker through Salvation Army who helped me get a 1-bedroom apartment in Killeen, Texas. So I know how, when I was homeless, I didn't look homeless because I carried myself a certain way. And I didn't hang around the people that was going through that, because a lot of people who went through that, they had money coming in. Me, I had a job, but it was still kind of hard because I wasn't really making enough. But I got the help I needed. And now, fast forward, I'm in San Antonio, Texas with my beautiful wife, and she's actually in the kitchen making some coffee. So, but it's just the point how you can turn your pain to your purpose. Like everything I went through, I used it to start my podcast, to write books, because I knew. Then I even had suicide thoughts. Like I even tried to take my life before in the past. Like, but I knew I had a purpose. So all the stuff I tried to do to harm myself, whether it was from drinking promethazine, drinking alcohol. Like I'm sober now, I don't do none of that. But I just think all the pain I put myself through. Yeah. And now look at me now. Like I'm really grateful that I'm still here to have amazing kids, man, to meet amazing people like you, man. I'm just grateful. Let me just say that. I'm grateful.
Yes, that is my attitude for life. I have an attitude of gratitude. I am grateful, yes, for even the struggles and obstacles that I faced in life. You know, the the point of even the mindset of not wanting to come back, you know, but I came back. It was, for me, it was a last resort, but he knew that that's what it would take, that I'd have to lose everything and had nothing except what I really needed, which was my faith in God. I could not lose that, even though at times it seemed so bleak. And I didn't know if I really still had that same faith. I'm just being so transparent. I was like, God, if you hear, I don't know you hear. You're going to have to show me something, because this is crazy. Like I worked, I did this, I did that. And it seemed like I seemingly did all of the right things. Why am I now here? I had no job. I lost my job. I lost my vehicle. And I lost my home. So I had absolutely nothing except 2 suitcases and a Chihuahua. That's all I had left when I came here. When I tell you that Syracuse is a city that I would say to anyone is rich in resources. So I knew that coming back here, one thing was true. I might have been down then, but it wouldn't be long, because this city is rich in resources. And I began to tap into those resources. And as I did that, it is how I gained my first apartment. And people say, oh, you got an apartment, but you don't have a job. Those same resources paid my rent for 3 years. Okay. God knows how to set you up for 3 years. And let me tell you something, my doctors, I told you I was in my 40s, my mid 40s. And so my primary doctor and my therapist both deemed me totally disabled. Okay. So now there is no going to get a job. He's not releasing me to go back to work. How do you make it? I'm like, God, what am I supposed to do? Well, then I get the apartment, right? It's like, okay, I have this apartment, but I don't have any income to sustain myself. Like they pay the rent, but I still have to live, right? He said, people always telling you how good your food is. They keep telling you should sell those dinners. I started selling dinners from my apartment. I was not known for cooking. I didn't have an abundance of friends in the city to use as resources that I would say, you know, to buy. So I started out with 3 good customers, 3 for 6 months. But I kept cooking. Yeah, and I only cooked 1 day a week. It was Fridays. Remember, I was utilizing resources. That meant food stamps. Okay. So that's where I got the food to be able to cook to then sell. Yes, I did. Okay. So now in doing that, that's the one food business that I started. People kept saying, oh, you should get a restaurant. And I said, no, I don't want a restaurant. And I had a reason. I wanted a food truck, if anything, because a restaurant, you have to bring the people in. A food truck, I can drive around wherever I want, right? Park where I want. Easier, better. I love that. So that was my mindset. And I was nowhere near as savvy in business as I am now. So that was just, I know that God was giving me all of these things. I did that. I was faithful over that for up from 2016 until 2020 when the pandemic hit. Then I'm like, okay, now what I'm supposed to do? He said, keep cooking and make cupcakes. Now, I'm just going to say this about the cupcakes. They were a special kind of cupcake. Okay. Now you okay.
I got you.
That's it, DeMarcus.
I got you.
So that's how I started with the cupcakes, although I transitioned into traditional cupcakes.
I got you. I understand. We hear
that. All right. So I did that. And then here comes Ma's Wings and Things was born. Now I am creating sauces. And I have this food business. I went and I got my LLC. No, I didn't. I went and I got a DBA. That's what I did. I went and I got a DBA. I started marketing that thing. I got a logo. Still not knowing as much as I know about business today, but I was marketing that thing, right? And so I made all the common mistakes that people made, but I don't care. I did them. It was worth it. And today I can say it was worth it. But I went through that. From the food business, I created a page. I just want to show you a connection right quick. I created a page on Facebook called Sweet Sarah. Okay. Now, with that page, I started following people. People started following me. I don't know half the people on this page right now. I didn't even know I had over 1K followers on that page, right? But it would be because of that page. Then this gorgeous, beautiful, amazing woman named Ardenae Gardner, who went live one day on Facebook. I wasn't even watching lives. I would particularly scroll past them. Like, I don't want to hear what they got to say. That was my mindset at the time. Okay. Now, this was 2021. She goes live and she starts talking about the 7-mile walk that she just completed. I was like, girl, bye. Like I'm trying to do 1 mile, but she just talking and she's saying how God, spoke to her and he gave her an assignment. She didn't really want to do it. She's saying, what, who, me, all these things, but I'm gonna be obedient. So she says, so now I'm going to ask if you have been called by God to write your story. I need you to put me in the comments. And so before I knew it, I put me. I don't know this woman, okay? I wasn't even watching lives at the time, right? And I really didn't feel like being bothered. Those are the 3 key points that I'm making right now, okay, to hone in on this thing. So now, but she said that, and I just said me, because I heard clear as day, move now. Now is the time. And I put me and hit it. And then I went, oh, man, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Right?
Look at let me say something. Like you said, now if you turn now around, it's 1. So
hello, DeMarcus. I knew you was my. Come on, I knew you was my guy. That's what I'm telling you. Yes. And so that was my win, right? It was now for the win. Now for the win. That's what it was. And so I'm like, all right. Now, unbeknownst to this woman, it had been 10 years that I've been told that I should write my story by my children, friends, associates. You should write your story. You should write your story. But I was too ashamed. I was too embarrassed, and I didn't want to be judged. So that's why I didn't write. But when this woman said, now put me in the comments and I'm this person, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. It's called integrity. So once I put myself out there, that's it. Okay. So now she done reached out to me. We done had this consult and now she invites me to join this anthology. I didn't even know what an anthology was. Okay. I had to Google it. I was like, Google, what is an anthology? And then I found out it's just a group of people coming together, writing their story in one place. That's what it is. For those of you that didn't know, now you know.
I know now.
That's it. That's all it really is. So there are 18 of us in this anthology. Stand up.
I like that.
There are 18 of us in there telling our stories. And that is how I became an international best-selling author. It was out of obedience. Obedience. But if you see how God tied that thing together, it was the Sarah Sweets page that I created. Had I never listened and started cooking or started making those cupcakes, that woman who I didn't even know was on my page at the time, I wouldn't have never known her. and we live in the same city. And this is a small city. And I'd never encountered her. But then after that, all of a sudden, now I'm encountering her in different places, right? We first met in person at a pop-up event that I was attending, and she attended.
Wow.
And then we were next to each other, and she recognized my voice. We hadn't seen each other yet, that I knew of outside of the video. She had on a mask, so I didn't know it was her. But when she saw me and she heard my voice, she knew it was me, and she introduced herself. And I went, oh my God. Now, all of that translates to Savvy, which is what people see on the screen, founder of Savvy. That is Sarah Ausby Ventures Incorporated. That is how that even came to be. It's how I became a public speaker. It's how I became a mindset coach. It is how I became the producer of the 8-City Book Tour, the founder of Glow Girls. It was the catalyst for my purpose that was on the inside of me.
I like that. Speaking of, man, your story amazing. But speaking of the 8-City Book Tour, how did that come about? Like, how did you get because I know it's like, it's you and some other people that's on the book tour. How did you decide, like, you know what, my story out there, it's time I want the world to know know what I went through. Like, how did that come about? Like, I know it was, I just want to know. Because you is going on a tour, and I'm excited.
Yes, I will share. Thank you for that. I will share. So I would love to be able to sit here this morning and say, I had this grandiose idea. I would be lying to the world if I said that. That is not what happened, okay? So the best idea that I had at that particular time was for myself, and now there are 3 volumes of this anthology. And so it was my idea to get a woman from each of the anthologies, each of the volumes, and to do a book signing together in this local city. And it was going to be big. Still going to do that, but it's on hold until this is done. But I do have two of the authors from each volume on tour with me. Now, with that being said, that was the best that I had. But when I tell you, I put forth this idea to the visionary author, Miss Ardenae Gardner, she's like, sure, go for it, do it. That would be amazing. And then I heard this quiet, still voice on the inside of me that said 8-City Book Tour. And I went, no, sir. Who? Me? Like, me? 8-City Book Tour. I was like, Ardenae. Oh, so I'm supposed to tell her that she needs to produce an 8-City Book Tour. He said, no, you. I went, oh my God. Oh my God. Come on.
Look at it. Like 8, the number 8 is the new beginning. So
yes. Yes, DeMarcus. Yes. And so it began. I wish I could say I chose every person, because there are 5 amazing best-selling author melanated women that are along on this tour with me as I'm producing it. And they are each amazing in their own rights. We have a woman that has overcome over 38 years of abuse. Over 38 years of abuse. Okay. We have a breast cancer survivor, and I believe 2-time breast cancer survivor. Like we have people, we have myself, an overcomer of child molestation, rape, right? And mental health diagnosis. Because I told you I saw a therapist, and there's about 6 to 7 different things that I was diagnosed with, but I do not take medication. I want that to be known. I'm not on any medication except vitamin D3. Okay.
I don't like medication either, so I can relate.
I'm very lucid. I am in my right mind. Okay. There is nothing wrong with me. I am not riddled with anxiety. I no longer have panic attacks. I am not triggered by things that happen. So PTSD is no longer a thing for me. And that whole bipolar thing, I don't even know why that was attached to me, except to say it was meant to hold me down, but it was a lie. I'm not bipolar. There's just different versions of myself. Which version do you want?
Exactly.
The now version or the past. The past version, she was off the chain. She was, as the kids would say,
I can relate.
she
The
used to
parents.
move, okay? But the now version, we are mature and responsible, right? And so we strategize and we understand in the now that I don't need to fight every fight. Every battle is not mine to fight. As a matter of fact, I don't have to fight anything. I tell you and the entire world, any hand or tongue that rises up against me, God himself will condemn. I don't have to do anything. And so I don't. In turn, what I do is pray for those people. I pray that God would deliver them from whatever they are going through, give them whatever they need. That is now my prayer. It's a as a young man, I did his interview over a year ago, and he said, that's some next level growth. I said, yeah, it really is. And I didn't know that I could be here. I didn't know that I could say to all of the people who used me, abused me, threw me away, discarded me for nothing, right? And didn't think that I would make much of myself, the bullies, the people that bullied me, the ones that, cheated on me, lied on me, stole from me, mishandled me, stole my identity. To all those people, now I can say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for fulfilling your purpose in my life because of all of those experiences. That is why I am who I am now. It made me, it built me, it didn't break me.
I'm telling you.
Look at me now.
And I agree, like all the stuff you went through or the people put you through, they wanted you to fall or give up after that. Now when they see how the tables turn and they still in the same position they is, like I tell people, I did a 180 in life. I don't say 360 because you do a 360, you're going right back where you started. So I say I do a 180.
That's right.
And everybody in my family, so-called friends, looking at us like, wow, you got this accomplished, this happened, but you went through so much because like you said, you got to retrain your mind. If you study dwell off the past, like I did an episode of my podcast, audio podcast called Band-Aid. People is studying ripping the Band-Aid off their past hurts, their past struggles, or they past trauma and wonder why they can't heal because they study ripping that Band-Aid. Like a mama say, when you get a cut or something, leave the Band-Aid on that baby because it can heal. But people want to study rip the Band-Aid off their past and wonder why they still living in their past. But all I went through, all I overcame, he just made me who I am. Like all the naysayers, all the haters say you won't go be nothing. Look at me now, like you said. And I can relate. I went through identity theft. Like 10 years ago, a person, the same person that molested me stole my identity. I had to do time for that. But guess what? I got legal shield now. And I got a lawyer. We finna fix that. That's all I can say. Legal shield, that's my people.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Listen, I tell people, even if you think you've won, if you think I'm losing, I don't. When you come against me, if you think you've won, you didn't. I don't care what a scoreboard says. I don't care how many votes you have.
Right.
I win no matter what it looks like. I win. And that is my mindset. I'm learning and growing. How do you lose when you learn and grow? You don't. You win because now you can apply these things. So that is what I have done. And that is how it came to be that I am a producer or the producer of an 8-city book tour with 5 amazing women coming along with me. And we have about 10 different amazing special guest appearances on the tour. So no 2 cities will be the same.
I like that.
It's not just about celebrating our literary accomplishments. It's not. It's about us impacting each city that we touch. We want to motivate, encourage, edify, inspire, and help people to see that through our stories of resilience and of faith. And we want people to see that. This is what we are coming on tour to share with everyone. And as you experience each person's story, as they will be sharing a piece of it, each author will touch the mic to share a piece of their story in that moment. You'll have the opportunity to speak to the author, to take a photograph with the author, to get your autographed copy of the book, to read the full story. So I do want to say that, and I want to invite everyone to join us on the book tour. Tickets are on sale on the website. Ticket sales end on May 23rd at 11:59 p.m., but you certainly can get your ticket at voices-on-paper.com, and we would love to have you. It is going to be such a time to be had. There will be some poetry reading, some comedy, and lots of other surprises and giveaways. So I did want to make sure that I share that, because it is an amazing event and it is history being made. This has never been done before. So we are pioneering this thing. And I just want all of our melanated people to understand that and to support by coming out, purchasing your ticket. We didn't, go for the gusto with ticket pricing. So it's a mere $50. You spend that at Burger King, McDonald's, or Five Guys. Yes, $50.
I do have a question. With one of them cities, would you be coming to Texas on your tour?
Houston. We are in Houston. Yes.
This is my wife that told me to ask you that. She actually, she's over there in the living room. So she told me to ask you, are you sure y'all are coming to Houston? What? I'll text you to get more information, because me and my wife are interested in going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'd love to have you there. It is, like I said, going to be a time to be had. It really is. It'll be a book signing like no other. And so I'm very, very excited about it. And I'm honored to be the one that was chosen to produce this event, as it is the first of its kind in this land, period. It hasn't been done. So it is, it's amazing. And I just invite people to be a part of history and join us in the room. Yeah, in any one of the 8 cities, because each city is going to be amazing. But yes, Houston.
Out there now. I'm gonna be on the next book tour, you guys. I'm gonna put it out there now. Put it in the universe.
Yes. There is something brewing for 2026 as well.
Right. So, I'll be there. But what I want you speaking on the reason why you started the book tour and how each author was gonna share a piece of their story. I tell people this. Your story is somebody else's glory. And what I mean by that, I'm glad y'all actually gonna watch this on replay. That means what you've been through in life is to help somebody else overcome what they're going through in life. So I always say that your story is somebody else's glory.
Yes, it absolutely is. Yes, it absolutely is. And so the person that you see right now that says, yes, come see her story, that would be the esteemed Dr. Toya. And she is out of Atlanta, Georgia, and she is one of our special guest appearances on the book tour. She will be in Atlanta, Memphis, and Charlotte. So
let's go. Congratulations, Dr. Toya, and thank you so much for tuning in, commenting. I really appreciate that. But that's amazing. And I like how you're bringing people together that's like-minded, that see your vision, that understand your purpose. I like that. So I'm telling you, next year, count me in. I'm gonna be there with you, because I got a story. I overcame so much in life. So much. Like, that's why I really published my first book in 2019. But can you grab a copy for me so I can show? Yes. I published a book in 2019 called From the Hood to the Church. And it's like, it speaks on how I was, my suicide thoughts, how I was addicted to drugs, how I got molested, like how I was houseless. I speak on all that. So that's why I don't mind sharing my story, because my story is somebody else's glory. What I went through in life is not just for me. Like, when I first published that book, I gave so many copies away just because I wanted to get my story out there. Yes. Right. But she wanted to put her head in there. But this is my first book on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes.
We overcame foster care, all that.
Overcame foster care. Like, foster care was so crazy. Like, that's one of my pains, but it made me who I am, because like my foster mama, She was addicted to drugs. She stole my money to buy drugs. Like, she beat me like Kunta. Like, I was trying to escape the plantation. Like, I was treated different from her biological kids. But I went through it. Like, that's where I had my suicide thoughts. That's where I wanted to check out at. Like, I tried to kill myself. Maybe 2 or 3 multiple times, but my pain got a purpose, so I can speak on this because it's a lot of people gonna watch this that's going through pain right now and don't know how to get through it. But look, y'all, look at Miss Sarah. Look at all she overcame. Look at the Marcus all overcame.
Yes.
Miss Toya. Yeah. Desmond, like my wife Erica. Look at that. We overcame so much, so I know if we can do it, y'all can do it. So don't give up now.
Yes.
Because you won. Look, now you turn it, you won.
That's right. That's right. And now I've won, and I continue to win on a daily basis because life don't stop when you get ahead, right? Challenges keep coming, you know, and so they come every day, all day long. But it's my mindset that keeps me. That's why he tells us to guard our hearts. From out of it flows the issues of life, right? So everything can't get to me because now I'm in control. I take my thoughts captive. If I've been cussed out, I've been cussed out, and I know how the old Sarah would have responded. But in my now, in my winning season, in my new version of myself, we don't do that. Instead, I turn to the person and I simply said, God bless you, and walk away. Because that's my power. That's my right to walk away. If I don't like the way someone's speaking to me, treating me, walk away. I'm not bound to stay there unless I make myself bound to stay there. And for what? I now love myself. I realize I didn't before, but I do now. I'm in love with me some me. Yes. God created a fearful and wonderfully made creature in me. Yes. Yes. I am awesome because he said I am. He don't make no junk. He don't make no junk. So I am awesome because he says I am. And I feel like we dishonor our creator when we start saying things like, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve that. Who said that? Who told you that? Those are limiting beliefs. And I help deal with that as a mindset coach. Those
I like how you put that out there because I want to touch on that and not to cut you off. I used to speak that negative over myself. Like, I'm not going to never be nothing. I'm just going to always be a mess up. But once I started changing them thoughts, because if you keep putting that out there, that's what all you're going to attract. So I started changing my thoughts like I am somebody. It don't matter. And I always tell myself, I'm going to be the first billionaire in my family. I say that. I speak that every day because I know it is not going to come today, tomorrow, next year, next week, next year. But I know as long as I keep putting that out there and I stay aligned with my purpose, it's going to happen for me and my family. And when I mean family, I mean my wife and my kids.
Yes, that's right. That is your family. When we're children, we're supposed to think as children. And when we become adults, we're supposed to put away childish things. That's right. So we think our family is our whole family, you know, our siblings, our cousins, and everybody when we're younger. But when you get older, you understand. First of all, this is the way I now understand it. Okay. Blood makes us related. It's the relationship that makes us family.
Come on.
So I'm blood related to a lot of people walking this planet, a lot. My mother's one of 14. My father was the eldest of 10. So I have a lot of relatives, blood relatives, not a whole lot of family. It's the relationship for me.
I get it. I can relate.
Yeah.
But this has been beautiful.
As well.
Yeah. So is that
one of the best lives ever?
Is there anything else you want to share? My wife says it's one of the best lives ever. Like, cause your story is powerful.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. If I could share anything last, I would just I would invite people to visit my website, sarah-ausby.com, where you will learn about all the different programs that I offer, or all the different things that I offer in my Mindset Transformation Coaching Program. You can book me for speaking engagements there, as well as I speak on a wide variety of topics and have spoken in several states already. So travel is not an issue. So please do reach out by visiting the website. And if you enjoyed this interview today and you would like to learn more about me, you can also catch me on YouTube at Sarah-all I do is win-Ausby, as you see on the screen. That is my handle on YouTube. And with that, I would then remind you all that if you transform your mindset, you will change your life. And with that, I give it back to you, DeMarcus.
And you heard it from the best. She said, if you transform your mind, you will win. But look, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to her channel, support her, and just get to know more about her, like, because she's amazing. And look, y'all know where y'all can find me at. But I just want to say this. I ain't going to give y'all on a long outro. I just want to say like, share, comment. Like, share this live, like, because somebody needs to hear this. Share it, comment. Share it to 1,000 people who's going through something, because your pain is your purpose. And I'm going to end it with that. Miss Sarah, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been getting ready for your 8-city tour, which 8 is the new beginnings. But thank you so much for taking time out of your busy rising, for coming on and supporting me. I really much appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely. My pleasure.
And look, like I said, like, share, comment, and till next time, y'all be blessed.